At 100, I can finally speak without worrying about what people think. I've lived long enough to see everything I once considered urgent fade into memory. My hands are slow, my voice softer than it once was, but the weight of what I've learned carries more than any speed or volume ever could. I have outlived friends, family, neighbors, and even the routines that once made every day feel full. What stays with me now isn't what I accomplished or failed at in any dramatic sense. It's the quiet moments I let slip away while waiting for life to be perfect. And I want to tell you gently, don't wait like me. I remember my childhood as a series of small routines that now seem monumental. I grew up in a modest home in Ohio where the morning light spilled across the kitchen table and my mother's voice called me from the other room before school. I have memories of the smell of breakfast cooking, of the way my father would tie his shoes and adjust his tie before leaving for work. Those days were ordinary, but in their ordinariness, they were full. I didn't understand it at the time. I thought the extraordinary would arrive later, like a visitor who knocked at the perfect hour. But the extraordinary was in the day-to-day, quietly waiting for me to notice it. I didn't notice. I was waiting. Later, I married Robert. He was steady, kind, and patient in ways I only appreciate now. We shared a small home, raised children, and built a life from routines that often felt too repetitive to matter. I wanted to travel, to explore, to take the time for all the things I imagined made life meaningful. And yet, every time an opportunity arose, I thought, not now, soon, when things settle. That soon became a quiet companion for decades. We never paused together long enough to truly notice the warmth in the light, the sound of laughter, the stories our children shared with us. I kept telling myself that the right time would come. It never arrived in the way I imagined. I can recall one ordinary afternoon with vivid clarity. It was September 1972. I was folding laundry in the sunroom, the warm light casting gentle shadows across the walls. Robert had come home early from work, a rare surprise. He leaned against the doorframe and asked if I wanted to step outside with him for a few minutes. I said, after I finished this, because the laundry needed to be done, the counters wiped the house tidy. By the time I folded the last piece of clothing and stepped out, he had already gone to run an errand. We never had that conversation. We never felt that quiet togetherness. I remember the sadness in that small absence more vividly than I remember any grand moment of joy. I was not careless. I was not negligent. I was waiting for a perfect moment to be present. I thought there was a right way to live, a right way to notice, a right way to be. I believed life needed to be aligned before I could fully engage with it. And in that waiting, I missed it. I missed so many ordinary moments that, in truth, were extraordinary. Ordinary is where life hides itself. And I didn't realize that until much later. I have repeated this mistake across decades. I waited to tell my mother how much I loved her, thinking there would be more time. She passed away before I could. I waited to spend longer afternoons with my children, thinking work or chores should come first. Time passed, and their childhood was gone before I fully realized it. I waited to take trips with Robert, waiting for perfect weather, perfect health, perfect circumstances. By the time we were free to go, his knees hurt, my energy faltered, and the world outside our home felt less inviting than it had in my imagination. Waiting, I learned, is a subtle thief. It doesn't take anything violently. It simply allows life to pass by while you insist on perfection. If you're listening to this, I want you to hear me clearly. You might think your circumstances are different. You might think that waiting is practical, responsible, even wise, and sometimes it is, but too often it is fear in polite clothing, fear of being present when you are tired, distracted, unsure, fear of doing something imperfectly. That fear is quiet, but it is persistent. It has a way of shaping decades, of structuring a life more than any grand decision ever could. I know this because I lived it. and I watched it shape me. I imagine you right now in a space that is familiar. Perhaps your phone is within reach. Perhaps a message or a call sits unanswered, waiting for a time when your words feel exactly right. Perhaps someone you care about is nearby or far away, and you keep thinking, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll say it next week. I once lived in that same quiet deferral for decades. Soon was my constant companion, and it carried more weight than any moment I ever truly lived. Some of the richest memories I have are not the milestones, the anniversaries, or the celebrations. They are the small, messy, and imperfect moments I finally chose to engage with. Sitting in the garden with a cup of tea while the children played noisily nearby. Listening to Robert's soft laughter while folding the laundry together, reading letters aloud that had sat unanswered for too long. These moments required no planning, no perfect conditions, only presence. And yet, I miss so many of them while waiting. Now, at 100, my days are slow and deliberate. I sit near the window and watch the light move across the walls. I watch shadows shift and change. I replay conversations that were never finished. I remember faces more than achievements. I remember voices more than plans. I remember warmth more than perfection. What I regret is not the work I did or the life I built. It is the time I waited, the moments I postponed, the presence I delayed because I believed I was waiting for a better version of life. I want you to understand what I finally learned. The moment you are living right now is not a rehearsal. It is not leading to something more significant later. This is the part that remains. This is the part you will either remember or let slip past unnoticed. Waiting for a better moment is a decision. Choosing to be present is also a decision. And the decision you make now matters more than any preparation, any perfect timing, or any delay. I'm not asking you to abandon responsibility. I'm not asking you to rush. I'm asking you to stop waiting for a flawless moment. Speak the words you've been holding, even if your voice trembles. Sit with someone you love, even if the house is cluttered. Take that walk, make that call, write that letter. Life will not pause for your readiness. It will pass by in quiet, ordinary ways that you may not notice until it is gone. I waited for perfect moments for far too long. They passed through my fingers gently, without warning, day after day, and when I look back, it is the ordinary, the imperfect, the everyday presence of life that I wish I had embraced sooner. I wish I had understood that perfection is a myth, that the right time rarely arrives, and that the only thing that matters is engagement, attention, and presence. That is the lesson I carry, and the one I hope you will carry, without needing a century to understand it. Now, when the sun falls low across my living room and shadows stretch long, I think of all the moments I could have taken, all the conversations I could have had, all the ordinary laughter I postponed, and I realize the heart of life is in those small openings, those ordinary chances. They are where love grows, where memory forms, and where connection is truly made. Not in perfection, not in waiting, but in showing up. So I speak to you from the quiet of 100 years. Do not wait like me. Do not wait for a perfect day, a perfect hour, or a perfect feeling. The perfect moment is not a thing that arrives. It is what you make when you choose to be present now. The ordinary is extraordinary if you step into it. Notice it, cherish it, hold it close, speak, sit, walk, listen, love. All of it is here, right now. Do not defer your life to an imaginary future that may never come. I waited, and by waiting, I allowed time to move past me. Don't make the same mistake. Choose now. The moment is yours, fleeting as it is, and more important than anything you think you need to prepare for. Life is quiet. Life is ordinary. Life is waiting for your presence. Show up, please.